Yeah, I'll let you know now. I don't have too long. I just have to pass on this information. So I spoke to Tommy within the hour. He was relaying this information. So we've just found out that he's actually been moved from the prison he was at to the new one where he's just been put within the last 48 hours. Where he was before was relatively safe. It had a very low Muslim population. He was in a specific ward that was safe. He was actually okay. We've just brought in a new legal team who's taking over the case, who's doing a really good job, and he's just been moved to a really actually unsafe place. As soon as he arrived at the entrance, someone told him or muttered to him that it was full of people here who didn't like him, which was really, really worrying. He was put onto the main wing, which is the central main sort of core of the prison, which is not a safe department. It's not a place in solitary. It's not a hospital wing. It's the main open season part of the prison, and that's where he's been put. We found the statistics of the prison. It's around 71% Muslim. Really, really, really disastrous. The last one was like close to 2%. And as soon as he arrived, he looked around and he could see people shouting, being really, really quite terrifying. He went to his cell and he said that all night people were shouting, banging on the cell doors, screaming death threats. He was really actually quite terrified about it. And he's just been relaying this information over in the last hour. So I don't have too much more to push from there, but we also had there's been a hit from an imam on him directly, which has been in the last 24 hours. I can't confirm if the imam is in that specific prison or if it's in one nearby, but that's something that happened to him last time he was in prison. So he's been basically put from what is a really moderate situation to a really, really, really highly hostile situation. He's a much higher target now than he was when he was previously in prison because of publicity and because of, the rise of Islam. And it's basically gone into an extremely dangerous situation. He's really, really worried. Everyone's really worried. He wanted me to pass this out to you, to the public. He wanted everybody to know this. This is just passing on directly from him. And that's all I can say about it.
Caolan, this is surreal, like something out of a fiction novel or something of the old Soviet Union, where it's known that a lot of people get killed in the prisons by Muslims. The guy that put a piece of bacon outside the mosque, as you know, got stabbed to death. They've said they're going to kill him in prison. And then now to take him, a nonviolent offender, for reporting that there was a trial of Muslim rape gangs, other media reported it as well, to give him 13 months in jail, and then now to move him to a higher security prison. I know the lawyers don't want us to, obviously say the name of that, and that we've got all of this unfolding, and that he arrives at the new prison, and they're basically chanting in general population in a place with murderers and rapists and all sorts of horrible people. This is like the old biblical thing where they throw you to the lions. I mean, this is like taking somebody and cutting their legs up and throwing them into piranha-infested waters in the Amazon Delta, River Delta. I mean, this is insane. As a good personal friend of his, I know, the guy he really trusts, I know you can't get much of the family, but how are you taking it? How is the family taking it? A, and B, why would they be taking a nonviolent political prisoner and throwing them into a 71% high-security, general population Muslim prison?
Well, A, we're really, really, really worried about it. It's the most devastating news possible. Things actually seem to be going okay. Looked like we'd be able to get him out early. Looked like we'd be able to actually have success with the case, and he was safe. He was feeling positive because of the protests, and it's just turned everything upside down for us. Obviously, it's terrifying. It's really, really the worst thing. I've worked with Tommy almost every day for the last 15 months, and it's really, it's a massively personal thing. It's terrifying. It's really horrible. Everybody who knows him and who knows his information now is equally as upset and disturbed by it. And yeah, so that's just what we're dealing with at the moment. What was your second question?
Why would they do this? Why would they want to make him a martyr when there's a very good chance he will be killed or physically harmed?
Well, I mean, it's to get rid of him. I think the protests have been heating up. We've had people climbing over the gates of Downing Street. We've had tens of thousands, 30,000 people the other day rioting and going nuts in the street because of him. And I believe they want to get rid of him. They don't want this to happen anymore. Oh, in the last hour, YouTube, I've just received a notification on my phone about 25 minutes ago saying that they've removed his video on YouTube that says, "I won't be around for
You got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front line for war.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
War here in the United States. I think in the middle of it, landing prison ships off the coast, starving family members.